over to the left, behind these bamboo trees, is the bongo with those long curvy horns. And just behind it is the greater kudu.
I see him.
I don't have too much time to talk about all of them, but the bongo right here, the orangish one, it's actually called the ghost of the forest. Usually hides pretty well. The kudu up on the hill there is actually the second tallest antelope on our reserve. And then this okapi that does look kind of like a zebra, it's actually the only known relative of the giraffe. It's kind of crazy. A lot of really neat things about these animals. So moving around the forest here. Usually they're hiding pretty well, but relatively early. It's not too hot out yet. So pretty good start as we dive on into the forest here. Now sometimes there'll be animals congregating at the watering hole. It's a very good social spot for them. So we'll check out this area really quick as we're moving through. Maybe not anybody. A very nice quick scan just in case. I don't see anything. Wild ducks, yeah. Nice spot. Well, here's an animal you're going to have to try a little harder to see. But if you look back over your left shoulder about your 7 o'clock, there's a big pile of gray rocks way in the back there. There's actually a black rhinoceros laying right in front of him.
I see him.
I see his ears wagging just barely.
Up there, right there. You didn't see him much move?
Fairly well back there. We might see some more rhinos a little bit later. They're usually not that well hidden because they are so large. Now most animals that we're going to spot in the forest are all there at the beginning, but there might be a couple more right here at the end. See at least one more bongo a little closer.
There's another one.
To the left there. I think that's just about all the animals we're going to spot. Maybe one more bongo way up on top of the hill. Otherwise, I think the forest is pretty much all finished up here. Alright, so not a bad start. The okapi, the bongo, the greater kudu, and just barely a baby saw that part right now. If not, oh well, we're going to keep on moving out of the forest over to our next area on the reserve. The next place we're traveling to is called the Safi River, S-A-F-I River. As we go around the trees here, start scanning the water, there might be a few hippos. Actually, I think I spotted one just over to the right here.
Right down here, they're feeding them. It's funny, they're all tethered in.
Yeah, I see it.
Those hippos can hold their breath for about 8 minutes at a time. The people feeding them, that's called the Wild Africa Trek. It's a little longer adventure. Same animals are going to see, just learn a little bit more in depth, a couple extra stops along the way. Takes about 3 hours. As we come around the corner, it looks like there might be a whole bunch more hippos over to our left here. Now, a group of hippos is actually called a bloat. So we found ourselves a bloat of hippos. And then over on the island, also it's called, they're called the pink-backed pelicans, P-I-N-K. Now, mainly their feathers are gray and white. Sometimes you can see on their backs a little bit of that pinkish tint. It's kind of like a salmon color. And just a few more hippos here. We've spotted just about everybody we are going to find in the river here. We'll keep scanning the water just in case there's anybody else. Any more animals. But found the hippos, the pelicans. Every once in a while we'll see some crocodiles, but they are predators and it's early in the morning. They might be out hunting, so we're not going to hang out on this bridge too long. Now the next area we're going to travel to is called the savannah. It's a very large open space. Hopefully we'll have a lot of animals kind of roaming around early this morning. Well, it's not quite too hot yet. We're actually going to start on the western side of the savannah and then move towards the east. Good amount of time is going to be spent there. When you imagine all the animals that you might potentially see on the safari, think about a couple in particular. Maybe it's called that
rabbit,
or a giraffe, or something else. Hopefully a couple very popular animals will be found out on the savannah. gosh. Alright, let's pull down to the bottom of the hill. We'll make a quick stop. Get some pictures of these awesome animals. Oh, there's also some Ankole cattle in the back there as well.
And look, they're white too. It's so rare to see a giraffe.
There are a whole bunch of giraffe here in the area, so we're going to get a couple different times to stop. But the big Ankole cattle in the back, those horns that you see can actually grow up to about 6 feet long. Another 6 feet is the height of these baby giraffes when they're first born. 6 feet tall. We'll get a couple good views of them, don't worry. I do believe all three of the little ones you're going to see are under a year old. What a good spot to get this one, John. Now the giraffe will grow up to about 20 feet tall, and they actually eat for about 20 hours out of the day. Yeah, pretty crazy. So usually we'll see them walking around getting snacks. You can see one of the animal caretakers here setting out some snacks for them. Very large appetite. Cool things about the giraffe is that number one, their tongue is about 18 inches long. Their heart weighs about 25 pounds. And they've got 7 vertebrae in their neck, just like you and I. Just a little bit longer. Pull around, a couple more views. Sun's kind of giving us some weird color in here. Is this weather similar to Africa? Not the weather, yes and no, but the more or less the habitat is very similar to Africa. That's why when we go through different areas, there are animals that are usually pretty specific to it, that resembles as much as possible as their home in Africa. As we come around, we got to spend some time with the Ankole cattle, the giraffe, and just up ahead there are some wildebeest here. Up on the hill, there's one actually called the white-bearded wildebeest. You might see those white beards hanging out a little far away. But you use these grasslands kind of like a highway because it stretches for such a large area. And the wildebeest actually make up the largest group of migrating animals in the world. Somewhere in the millions as they're moving across this very large open area. Now we've covered the western side of the savannah. We are almost right in the middle of it. Hopefully a couple more animals before we get east. Recently there have been a few monkeys that have kind of taken over this next spot on the reserve. So hopefully that's good news for us that we'll spot a couple. The monkeys we're going to be looking for are called mandrills, and I think there's actually an African elephant just up ahead here. Really quickly, there's a monkey up on top of these rocks to the left there in between those two branches. That is the mandrill up there. It's actually the largest monkey in Africa. There's a couple more. As we pull on around, there's an awesome view of that elephant there. We're going to get an even better view as we pull around the corner, but this is kind of cool. See all these mandrills playing. They have very brightly colored noses, a little bit of blue, red, and white. Look at a little. We're gonna pull around, see if we can find a good spot that's opening just up ahead here. Alright, this is a pretty good view. And the African elephant can weigh anywhere from 13 to 14,000 pounds, fully grown. And in addition to all the food that they eat, they actually drink over 40 gallons of water every day. Very cool animals. Both the males and the females actually have those tusks, so it's kind of hard to tell one apart from the other. The best way that we know which ones are the males is because they actually separate from the females at about 13 or 14 years old and walk along by themselves, so a good indicator that was the male. Now we're going to take the bridge further on into elephant country. And as long as you stay right down the middle, it should hold steady for us. Alright, I think we balanced it out. Hold on. Just a few more feet. Alright, you never quite know with that bridge. What do they call that and get it fixed? Yeah, you're right. I just got my license a couple days ago. But hey, we made it across in one piece, so we're going to count it as a win. Look at this. There are some elephant tracks and some tusk marks. I definitely think we've had some in this area. Hopefully moving around. Very large open space. I think it might have been one just over this hill. Oh, check this out. That's relatively early. Hopefully there are a bunch of them moving around here. We're going to keep on going through. Try to find a couple good spots to stop for. See one just over the hill here. As we go on in a little further, there should be a couple of spots, hopefully, to stop. It sounds like the radio is actually going to come on. So for a few minutes, we're just going to kind of cruise through the country. Hopefully find a few more elephants. We are almost out of elephant country. We're going to start making our way towards the eastern side of the savannah. How many elephants? I would say 9 or 10. There's a wall as you're headed outside of the park, right by the Zowani Traders, that has all of the elephants, their names, their weights, their ages. I don't know all of them yet, but there's a nice spot right there. If you ask some customers, it's right where the Tree of Life, so if you want to check that out, it's pretty cool. And here on the eastern side, there are a lot of species that are critically endangered or not as common as other animals. So we look at those, some smaller breeds of antelopes. There are some large craters in the mud, so maybe we have some rhinos moving through this area as well. Keep our eyes open for them. They are very large, kind of hard to hunt. It's sort of like that black rhino that was doing its best at the beginning of the forest. Every once in a while, spot some cheetahs here. Now, it's kind of hard with the sun shining in our eyes And it's shining kind of blotchy in the trees too, so be looking for those big yellow bodies. See, there might be a couple moving around. Usually they're laying down up along the fence line. Oh, look at this.
Wow.
These are the cheetahs over to the left here.
What are they eating?
Rabbit.
Wow.
And the cheetahs can run anywhere from 60 to 70 miles per hour. And they can hold the speed for a couple hundred yards before they get tired. And the cool thing about the cheetahs, they're not like most cats. Most cats can retract their claws, the cheetahs cannot. But look at this line up on top of the rock here. I believe they are among some of the cats that can retract their claws. Wow. And the lions are inactive for about 20 hours out of the day. If you look right beneath that male, you're also going to see one of his mates. Well, his only mate, I should say. The lioness down there. They'll use these rocks kind of as a lookout point. Helps them kind of monitor the area, see what's happening. Looks like there are some zebras over to the right here, I believe. Pretty neat animals. Just like there are no two fingerprints that are the same, there are no two zebra patterns that are quite the same either. It's sort of how we distinguish one from the other. I don't know if there'll be any more lions, there might be, but I got a pretty good view there at the start of the back side of that male. As you look up, you can see his tail kind of hanging out there. Just snoozing. Pretty easy life for lions. Now we are almost to the edge of this eastern side of the savannah. I think just over this top you can see, oh my gosh, there's some baby warhogs. Look at that. And yes, of course, it's ostrich just over to the left here. Now the warhog can run about 30 miles per hour, and the ostrich can actually run about 40. I don't know, the zebras have kind of wandered off, but you can see these little brown animals. These are called the bontabon. They're among some of those endangered species you were talking about. They're critically endangered, actually. Back in the 1900s, there were only about 20 left in the world. And we saw quite a few animals out here on the savannah. Started off with those giraffe and the Ankole cattle. We saw some elephants, some monkeys, some flamingos, cheetahs, lions, warthogs, and ostrich. A couple other animals kind of sprinkled in there. And our time is all up here though on the savannah, so we're going to head on over to our very last spot on the reserve. A little more reliable on that bridge, right? And this last area we're traveling through is called the Magadi Glen. There's one more species of animal you're going to see up here on the hill. Now this is called the scimitar horned oryx. The neat thing about the oryx is that their body temperature will reach about 116 degrees before they begin to sweat. They'll go weeks, sometimes even months, without taking a single drink of water. Really. That's really cool. They get the majority of it in the grass, the leaves, all the food that they eat. They really don't have to take too many sips of water. Now, there's a few bumps here. We're going to get a really good spot. Kind of look at this profile view of the oryx. Alright, one last glance and we are officially exiting the reserve. Kind of a bummer, but hey, we did see a lot of animals. If you took some pictures, definitely make sure you save them. There's no two safaris are ever the same. You gotta be coming back in 20 minutes and you may not see any of these animals. So hold on tight to those, cherish them. Hopefully you made some good memories, learned a few things about those animals. There's a lot happening out there. And this is your very first adventure. I hope you enjoyed it. It's kind of hard to top everything we just saw. Maybe it's your second time. If that's the case, well then welcome back. Hopefully there's something new. Or maybe you've just traveled so many times you can't even keep track anymore. We're going to be crossing, or I should say passing, both of the docks here. Back along the path. I'm going to take you back up to the dock where I picked you up at a long time ago before we started our adventure. So hold on tight, just a couple winds in the road before we're able to depart. We do have a few more minutes together, so make sure you check your roads all around you for any loose, valuable items that might have shaken loose, like your cell phones, cameras, wallets, water bottles, anything. I'm gonna make one last call before we head on in too. Now we do get up to the dock. Take your time stepping down, there's no hurries here. Probably have a truck or two in front of us actually, so hold on tight. When I get up there, as the tires are rubbing along the sides, I think I'll kind of a squeaky noise. No worries, just trying to get as close as possible for you. But when you do get out, you're missing anything from your wheelchairs, your scooters, your ECVs, anything. If Alan's still up there, let him know. If he's not, let whoever's up there know what's missing. They'll help you out. Like I said, there's just a few trucks in front of us. You're gonna load up, and then it'll be our turn to stop just past the dock. When you do get off the truck though and you go down the ramp, you can either go right back into Africa, or you can go left and take a trip down the Pangani Trail. We did see some really cute baby warhogs. If you go down the Pangani Trail, you can actually see some very cute baby gorillas. Adorable. They're, I want to say like 9 months and 11 months old. They're still extremely small. They're just now learning how to walk. So it's funny to see them stumbling around. It's crazy. There's also some birds, reptiles, a bunch of neat things that you didn't see on the safari.